Rise and shine, Hoosiers, and welcome back to Season 10 of the Bloomington Breakfast Club. I'm Morgan Ludwig.
And I'm Clara Isaac. I'll be the guest co-host this week since Caroline is abroad and in Italy for the semester. Today we're kicking off the new season with a representative from the IU Theater Department's upcoming main stage show, Sueno.
We also have a special message from Caroline updating us on her life abroad.
So grab your cup of coffee, Hoosiers. It's going to be a great morning.
It's now time for the unnecessary updates of the day, where we discuss some of the latest pop culture headlines. Joining us as always is Grace Tempe.
So excited to be back. Season 10. Season X. I'm so excited.
Okay, so I'll go first.
Okay.
In
Claire's
China,
excited.
a woman became stuck at her blind date's house after his community went into lockdown in the middle of their meal because of recent COVID-19 surges.
That's kind of fun.
Yikes.
That's kind of like a sleepover. My question is, why were you having a blind date at his house?
Okay, so her parents were matching her with possible
Oh,
suitors. And this
okay.
particular suiter wanted to show off his cooking skills.
Okay.
But it even turned out like she didn't like his food, so
Oh.
she was
Oh,
also
no.
there hungry as
Oh.
well.
Oh no.
So are they still together, locked down? Are they together apart now?
Yeah, is this an ongoing issue? Like,
Yeah.
Oh.
do we need to worry?
I think they're just apart now. You know, it was pretty brief.
Okay, that's good.
Luckily for her.
She
Yeah.
got out of there fast. Thank God.
I think there's a movie like that, right? Where there's like a snowstorm and two people on like a Tinder date get stuck together. I feel like I've seen it on Netflix.
It could be. There's a lot of movies about people being stuck in a snowstorm.
Yeah. It's a pretty typical Christmas trope. Other question, what did he cook?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
We just know it was bad. We don't know what it
Okay.
was.
That's sad. I'm a really good cook. If she had come to my house,
If she was
she'd
your
still
blind
be there.
date.
We would have still be together. I would have cooked her a Kris Jenner recipe. I have a Kris Jenner cookbook.
What about the other Kardashians?
I
They
don't have their cookbooks. No. Sorry, Kim. Does she have one? A cookbook? Does she have one?
Don't ask me. I have no idea.
I'll look into that.
I know Courtney does a lot of stuff with cooking
Oh.
and like health.
I'm sure she does. Yeah, she probably does have a cookbook. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the unnecessary updates. This is in huge personal news for me. Mark Cuban liked my tweet. I know, guys. Hold your applause. We are obviously still coming off the high of the big IU Purdue basketball win. But a lot of people don't know that on that same night, favorite IU alumnus Mark Cuban appeared on the hit Food Network show Beat Bobby Flay as a guest judge, where the guest judges like choose chefs to go up against Bobby to beat him. And since the guest chef beat Bobby, Mark Cuban also kind of had a win that night, which means that there was a double IU win. So I tweeted about it, double IU win tonight. The tweet is on the screen
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh.
IUBB took down Purdue, and Mark Cuban chose the winning chef to take down Bobby in tonight's episode of Beat Bobby Flay. Proud to be a Hoosier today and every day. Obviously, that was a joke. Mark Cuban was the first like on it.
Oh my gosh. What? That's crazy.
And I got the notification, and I was like, as Clara said before we were talking about this, she was like, fake account. And I was like, I know, that had to have been a fake account. It's verified. His check, I have Twitter dark mode, so it was a white check, not a blue check. But there was a check. I was like, oh my God, Mark Cuban liked my tweet. I have to tell everyone that I know in the whole world, which is why this is my first unnecessary update, because I'm so excited. Thank you, Mark. I vow to do you on Alumni Watch next time. Thank you.
So do you know what they cooked? Like, what did the guest chef cook?
Yes. It was actually the vegan episode because Mark Cuban and the other guest judge were both vegetarian. He's a vegetarian. The other guest judge was a vegan. So they had two vegan chefs. And the chef that took down Bobby, they were making vegan burgers. and it was huge. I kind of want to make a vegan burger now in honor of Mark.
Was there sides? Or was
No.
it just the burger?
Mark was making fun of Bobby because Bobby was putting onion rings on his burger to crunchify it, which is apparently a word that Bobby Flay has trademarked. So I don't know if I can say crunchify on this show.
We're gonna get
But I'm going
demonetized.
to. He crunchified it, and Mark Cuban was making fun of him, but it was so huge for me. Thank you, Mark. Anyways.
Now we just have to get Mark Cuban to watch the show.
Well, I
That's
mean,
our
if he
next
liked
goal.
one tweet, maybe he'll like two. If I tweet about it and mention him, maybe he'll
Definitely.
give it a watch.
I mean, you now have a rapport with Mark Cuban.
Exactly. We're kind of
so-
like Twitter mutuals. We're kind of best friends. He's probably going to like give me some of his $1 billion soon. That's just what I'm anticipating.
You get written into his will.
Next thing you know, you're invited to his birthday party.
Oh my God, exactly. I'm like Mark Cuban, my bestie. We're hanging out all the time. I'm rich now. Obviously, I use my wealth for good. But yeah.
I don't know how I'm supposed to top that.
Yeah,
unless
it's pretty
we should just
hard.
skip me, honestly. That's like
I
the best
know.
semester update ever.
I know.
But I guess I'll say my
Okay,
update.
yeah, Morgan, you can
'cause
try.
It is kind of fun. But yesterday in New Hampshire, a dog was rescued from drowning.
That's
right?
good.
It is good, but the way that it was rescued is hilarious because the law enforcement tied a sausage to a drone and had the drone fly like over the dog to guide it to safety, which is just, I find that hilarious. I think we have a picture of it. There's the dog looking so smug. Her name is Millie, and there's the sausage tied to the drone.
Gosh.
It's apparently
Did she get to eat the sausage
that's
afterwards?
what I guess. I think that the picture is her right after she ate the sausage,
Okay,
and she's
yeah,
in like a
'cause
food
she
coma.
looks so happy.
So was the dog chasing after the sausage, and that's how it was
Yeah.
led?
So the dog was
Oh.
stuck in it was like, because there was like flooding or something.
Okay.
And so it was
sure.
like a risen river that was running fast, and it was the dog like
Oh.
didn't know where to go, it was
Oh,
disoriented.
Millie.
So
No.
the drone flew over and kind of guided it to the safest point to exit
Oh,
the river.
that's so cute.
I don't know who came up with that, but whoever
Yeah.
did was a genius because
I'm glad that the law enforcement was like, this is our top priority. We have to use a drone to save this dog.
yeah, apparently there was like police and fire on scene, like multiple units. Like this dog was
I mean-
person of interest number one.
I mean, yeah, I would do anything to save a dog as well, probably.
I love how they chose sausage.
Yeah.
I mean, if I needed to be saved, my food of choice would be like pizza or something.
Ooh.
Well,
But, you know,
apparently
sausage works too.
the sausage came from just like some random lady who was
He was
just
like,
there.
oh, I have some sausage.
Yeah, she was just there. Like maybe it was. I don't know if it was the owner, but she was there,
Interesting.
like watching the rescue happen, and she's like, "I've got a
Oh,
sausage.
We can use some sausage that I have in my pocket. Yeah,
Pulls it out of her back
perfect.
pocket.
Here you
So,
go.
yeah.
Maybe I
hope-
should start carrying sausage in my back pocket just in case a dog needs to be rescued near me.
Honestly.
I'll be like, oh, hey, I'm ready.
We know it works now.
It's my pocket sausage, yeah.
I need a bratwurst.
Oh my God, I actually do love brats. There's
Well-
some in the freezer right now at my house.
Hopefully, my lowly unnecessary update was
Yeah.
able to
I was pretty good.
stand up.
was
to
It's
it.
a
great.
dog, so.
Okay, that's
Food
right.
and
Yeah.
dogs, you know, you can't go wrong
Exactly, yeah. Theme
Alright.
of food, actually, this episode for unnecessary updates, because yours about bad food.
with that. Oh, yeah.
Wait, yeah. the
Mine was
time
about
thing.
good food, beat Bobby Flay. Yours was about dog
Saving,
food.
saving food.
So I love a theme, so that's good for the first episode of season 10. Season X.
Season 10, episode 1, the food episode. All right, and now we're going to go across the world to see what Caroline is up to in Italy. Let's take a look.
Hey guys, it's me, Caroline. I am so excited to be back for the season 10 premiere. I'm studying abroad this semester in Florence, Italy, and I'm so excited to bring you on some of my journey so far. Right now, I am at the Duomo. As you can see, it is just so incredible here, and I can't wait to show you more. Here I am in Siena. I took a trip. It's about an hour away from Florence. I'm here at one of the most famous cathedrals in the world. As you can see, it is just so tremendously beautiful. And I'm just so amazed. Got gelato. I'm going to Venice. Hey guys, I took a trip to Venice, as you can see. Wish you all were here, but thank you so much for letting me be on the show this week. I had a great time, and back to the studio.
That's so cool, Caroline. We can't wait to hear more about your time in Florence.
And now joining us in studio is Lexi Silva, the dramaturg for the IU Theater Department's upcoming main stage show, Sueno, which opens next weekend. Lexi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
So Lexi, what is your role in Sueno?
So I'm serving as the production dramaturg, which means that I sort of do a lot of things. It's kind of a really flexible job. So essentially I do a lot of historical research for the production. I'm kind of like an advocate for the play's text, right? So my job is to kind of sit with the actors, sit with our director Daniel, and make sure that the decisions that we're making about staging this production are in line with what's present in the script, or at least rooted in ideas left to us by the playwright in the script.
Wow.
Okay, and then how did you become the dramaturg of the show? Was it what you aimed for, or did you kind of just fall into place?
So I'm actually, I'm a second year dramaturgy MFA student here at IU, and so the way that it works is we get production assignments every semester, but I do have a particular interest in classical plays, classical work, and Sueño is actually an adaptation of a Spanish Golden Age play by Pedro Calderón de la Barca called Life is a Dream. And so it's really interesting to be working with something that has roots in the Spanish Golden Age, but is actually a really contemporary play that we're putting on right now.
So as you said, it's rooted in the Spanish Golden Age. What is Sueño about?
So Sueño is essentially about, I think it's about a girl named Rosaura who encounters this world. She's escaping from her past, essentially, and encounters someone named Segismundo, who is a man who has been imprisoned since birth because his father is really into horoscopes and seems to think that the stars have dictated that he will be the most monstrous being in the entire world. So he's locked up and constantly sort of convinced that his life is a dream or it's not a dream, to be able to manipulate him into staying in isolation. And so these two people encounter each other. It's about a struggle for power. It's about what it means to confront patriarchal systems, especially when it comes to things like royal lineage. And I think it's also a discussion about the duality of how a place like Golden Age Spain, which was like this cultural paragon for progress and art and beauty, but was also engaging in some dangerous behaviors like, to say the least, like the Inquisition and things like that were absolutely decimating other cultures. And so it's very loaded, and I think the way that we're staging it is meant to really draw attention to the damage caused by patriarchal power structures, now and then.
Yeah, that sounds like a really interesting story. Sounds almost like an old mythic fable. It kind of reminds me of Oedipus, right? Where it's you try so hard to avoid your fate, but then I don't know the ending, but maybe it comes back around and it's inevitable, something like that.
Right, and I think that's actually a really great parallel to draw, because that's kind of what we're dealing with. We're dealing with giants, right? Questions of what does it mean to be alive? If I believe there's a note in the playwright's note at the beginning that says something like, if life is a dream, is God the greatest dream of all? You know, huge existential questions that are being asked about what it means to be a person, what it means to be alive, and about the consequences of your actions.
Yeah, well, because of the social factors, it's definitely a story that needs to be told.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's the angle that Daniel Sappington, our director, is absolutely taking on this production. I think he's looking at a piece of theater that is really an homage to a classical framework of a play, and saying, how can we adapt this to make this story about a female protagonist who's encountering constant challenges, more than challenges, constant oppression and subjugation by patriarchal powers that be. And I think that's always an important story to tell. I think it's always important I think theater is, to put up a bit of a mirror to show us what like a reflection of the things that are going on in our culture and our world at a given time. And I think it's always important when, and like necessary when it can speak truth to power, right? Then that's theater at its best.
Yeah, that's a good summary of it.
Thanks, I hope so.
It sounds like a great play, and I personally am really excited to see it. So, so what's it like then to work with like both the cast and the crew aspect? Because you're kind of working with everybody here. So what's that like to manage, like, kind of translating this play for everybody?
It's a really exciting job. I have the great pleasure of being at a really interesting intersection where I get to be sort of like halfway in the performance element, because I still get to be in the room watching rehearsals, responding to performance. But I also get to be in conversations with designers about concept, right? And essentially, I mean, I think a lot of times people think that dramaturgs are like the people who know in the room, right? We're the ones who like know what's up with the script. We did all the research, but sometimes I don't know. And honestly, so many of my peers have really exciting things that to contribute to the conversation that are so smart and so illuminating for me. So it's actually a really joyous experience because I get to walk in and say, all right, this is what I think we're dealing with here. And then I get to sort of constantly be in on other people's perceptions and thoughts as we develop something. So it's nice to be at the center of all these ideas. It's really exciting, and to kind of streamline them and say, okay, well, this is what we're doing. Great. How do we make all these ideas into intentions?
Yeah, so what's your absolute favorite part about being a part of the show, if you had to pick just one thing?
I think my favorite part about the show is, about being a part of the production team on this show, is really getting to sit in rehearsals and watch, right? Because, I mean, especially at the graduate level, like, so many of my peers are also my friends, and it's really rewarding to be in a room with people whose talent you admire, whose intellect you admire, and work with them together. That's what it's about. I think it's about the work, getting to contribute to making something that has something to say, or that is an attempt at saying something and speaking truth to power. Is always really riveting, and at the core of like why I chose this job, why I chose to be a theater maker in any capacity.
All right, so I'm going to be a little bit presumptuous here, and I'm going to
would.
guess that the answer to my next question is going to be what you were mentioning before about how everyone expects you to know everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what is the hardest part about being a dramaturg?
Oh, the hardest part about being a dramaturg is sometimes, at least for me, I'm not the authority for all dramaturgs. There are others. I know it's obscure, but I promise there are more of us. I think sometimes I have to battle myself on flexibility, right? Because sometimes the room needs me, and I have to assess that and understand how I can contribute. And sometimes maybe it's the right move to step back. It's kind of like a hands-on, hands-off sort of thing, because part of the job is to be like that early audience member, right? Take a few steps back after we've spent time doing play reading and like all this heavy analysis and all these conversations about the play text, and then I step back, then I come back in just to make sure that like all those ideas are still developing, or if they've changed, that it's an intentional change. So I think the hardest thing for me is making sure that I'm always capable of taking a temperature on the room and saying, when is my presence the most helpful and how is it the most helpful? So it's not a bad thing, it's just like a nuance of the job, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've already sold me, but why should people come see the show?
I think people should come see the show because it's so exciting to be back in the room, period. Like separate of the fact of all these things about the show, of why we're staging it right now, why it might be important to see right now. It's just a joyous experience to be back at the theater. It's a real privilege to be back at the theater. And I think anyone who like hasn't seen a play before, hasn't seen a play at IU, will be so deeply impressed by the quality of work that's going into a production like this. But also, I think it is a story about power dynamics, about power struggle, and I think that there are a lot of ways that people watching this show might be able to identify with our protagonist, Rosaura, and the way that she struggles through the piece and the environment that she's living in.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us, Lexi. I have never been more excited for a play. You have really hyped this up. Your explanation of like talking about like the philosophical aspects of it and just like the social aspects. I'm excited. I don't know about you, Claire, but
I'm definitely excited. I will definitely be there. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
thank you. We
amazing.
appreciate you
Thank
coming out.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
And then coming up after a short break, we'll present this week's Alumni Watch and B-Town Buzz.
We'll be right back. Welcome back.
Now joining us in studio for this week's Alumni Watch is our TBBC correspondent, Cami Moore. Cami?
Thanks, Morgan and Clara. Today we'll be looking at the career of Bob Chapek, who graduated from IU in 1981 with a bachelor's degree in microbiology and then went on to receive an MBA from Michigan State University. Chapek was named CEO of the Walt Disney Company in February 2020 and has an over 20-year-long history with the company. Chapek served as the chairman of Walt Disney Parks and Resorts starting in 2015 until he became the chairman of Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products in 2018. In his time, Chapek has overseen the opening of Disney's Shanghai Disney Resort, as well as multiple new resort destinations across the globe, including fan-favorite Marvel-inspired attractions and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Taking on his new title at the beginning of the pandemic, Chapek continues to lead the Walt Disney Company through new changes and also innovations to make the most of Disney's magic. I'm Cami Moore, and this has been Alumni Watch. Back to you, Claire and Morgan.
Thanks, Cami. It's now time for the B-Town Buzz, where we share with you some fun events going on around Bloomington this week.
This Friday, Mitchell Tenpenny will be performing at the Bluebird. Doors open at 7 and you must be 21 or older to attend.
Also this Friday at 10 p.m., IU Cinema presents the film Crypto Zoo, an animated feature starring the voice talents of Michael Cera, Lake Bell, and Zoe Kazan. Tickets are $4.
On Saturday, the Bloomington Music Expo will take place at the Monroe Convention Center from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Browse and purchase vinyl, CDs, tapes, art, and apparel. Plus, enjoy live music performed by bands and DJs.
And finally, on Saturday night, Moses Storm returns to the Comedy Attic. You can catch his shows at 7 and 9:15 p.m. Ticket prices vary from $12 to $15. And that's our show for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
As always, we are looking to feature more local students, businesses, and organizations on the show. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please contact our producer Lily at lshareb@iu.edu.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at B-Town BFast Club. For IUS TV, this has been Morgan Ludwig
And Clara Isaac. Have a great week, Hoosiers.